Hey, what's going on, you guys? It's your man James, aka JP, back again with some more Arcade1Up news and updates. So admittedly, this news is a few days old. I just didn't have time to make a video until today, but I figure better late than never. Arcade1Up has announced two brand new cabinets. So the first cabinet we have is the Capcom Legacy Yoga Flame Edition, and the second cabinet is the Bandai Namco Legacy Ms Pac-Man Edition. So in this video, we're just going to take a look at all the details of the cabinets, the design, all the games that come on it, all the features that they have, price points, where you can pre-order them, all the information you're going to need to know about these cabinets we're going to go through in this video. But before we get to that, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and also check out all my other Arcade1Up videos. Those will be popping up at the end of the video on the screen for you guys to click on. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at these two brand new cabinets that were just announced by Arcade1Up.
Alright, you guys, so we're going to start over here with the Capcom Legacy cabinet, and this is being branded as the Yoga Flame Edition, which is very interesting. You guys know that Yoga Flame is Dhalsim's signature move from Street Fighter, so it's interesting that they kind of took that and made a whole themed cabinet off of it. But let's go ahead and take a look at the design of the cabinet, and then we'll get into all the details that you guys need to know. So starting right here with the artwork, I think the artwork looks pretty decent. I do like how the artwork looks. It's got that old school Street Fighter feel to it. It doesn't really have that like new school Street Fighter feel, which I'm very happy about, because I just don't like the designs of the new characters in Street Fighter ever since like Street Fighter 4 or 5, whenever they moved to that more 3D type of artwork. So I do like how this looks very nice. Now you can see the Yoga Flame inspiration in the background right here with just random fire I just throughout the background of the cabinet. I'm making jokes, but overall it does look decent. I'm glad that it's not like a full Dhalsim themed cabinet, but just like fire in the background is what they went with. And I do not like the riser whatsoever. The riser is just like full on fire, which is super random. But yeah, I don't like how this looks at all. But I am happy that it is only on the sides. If we skip around a couple pictures really quickly, you can see the front of the riser is just black, whereas the sides have that fire inspiration on the side. So at least it's not all the way around. I felt like that would have been a little bit of an overkill to have the fire go all throughout. So I am glad it is just on the sides. And I do like how the artwork has that like orangish yellow hue to it. That really ties in with the fire that's going on. So I do like how that looks, but yeah, the riser I could live without. Moving forward to the control deck, you can see the control deck here looks a little strange. So it kind of like hangs off of the side, as you can see right here, and to my knowledge, I don't think we've seen that on any other cabinet other than obviously the 4-player cabinets where you have the extended control deck. But I don't think we've seen the control decks like this where it's just hanging off the side. Normally it's either flush with the lines of the cabinet, or the control deck kind of comes out from this area right here. But yeah, it's interesting that they did that. I'm not sure why, if maybe they did it just to widen the control deck up a little bit to give more space in between the players. But it is an interesting feature right there, and I'm not sure what this button is right here. I don't know what that is. It looks like a sensor almost, unless it's just missing something right there. But yeah, that looks a little strange right there. But yeah, the control deck especially looks kind of odd in this scenario here when you're looking at it from this angle. I don't know, it's weird. It looks like it's just floating there and it's just hanging off the sides, and it's black on the sides. I don't like how that looks. I feel like that kind of sticks out a little bit. And I know I'm just kind of nitpicking right now, but I am just kind of giving my thoughts about this cabinet as we go through it. I think a really cool feature to see would have been the continuation of this artwork, to kind of continue on to this control deck right here. I think it would have looked really cool from the sides to kind of see that. But one thing that I do like is you have the marquee here for the main game of this cabinet, which it's themed after, and that is Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo Hyper Fighting. You can see the yellow and orange design on the marquee right here. I like how the fire kind of ties that all in together, all the way, you know, from the riser all the way up to the marquee. So I do really like how it ties everything together. I just think they could have probably done something a little bit better with the riser itself. Maybe just continue the artwork from the side down here and still have a little bit of fire poking out from the sides. But anyways, moving on from that, we also have the molded coin door right here, as well as the Street Fighter 35th anniversary logo right there, again done in that like yellowish red hue to it. And that's crazy that Street Fighter is 35 years old at this point. You can also see the traditional gray and black along the cabinet right there, and we'll get a better angle of that right here so you can see that with the red molding. And you can just see how the control deck looks so weird, how the control deck comes off to the side and doesn't meet up with the lines of the cabinet. So it is what it is. It's just something different. I'm not saying it's good, I'm not saying it's bad. I really would have to see it in person, but judging off of the pictures, it just looks a little strange to me, to be honest with you guys. But yeah, you get different angles of the cabinets right here, so you can see how all of that looks. So looking very nice. And then the dimensions of the cabinet are right there for anybody who happens to be interested in that. So with this being a legacy cabinet, this is actually going to have quite a bit of games included on here. There are 14 games in total, and we're going to go ahead and read the list off to you guys really quickly. So the games that are included are obviously Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo Hyper Fighting. Then you also have Super Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition and also Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Now you also have quite a bit of games that I haven't heard of before. You have King of Dragons, and I'll be sure to leave gameplay or quick little clips or screenshots of these games that I haven't heard of before up on the screen for you guys. But like I said, you have King of Dragons, you have Strider, which is a classic game that I'm glad to see on here. You have Pro Gear, which is another game I haven't heard of before. Battle Circuit, also another game I haven't heard of before. Super Puzzle Fighter, which is essentially just another Street Fighter game, so you do have that to the list as well. Saturday Night Slam Masters, haven't heard of that, but it actually sounds pretty interesting just going off the title of the name. And Capcom Sports Club, another game I haven't heard of, but I'm very interested in checking out once I'm editing this video, because I love sports games, so yeah, can't go wrong there. You also have Final Fight, which is another classic Capcom beat 'em up. You have Giga Wing, which I haven't heard of before. Captain Commando, which is another classic Capcom beat 'em up. And Armored Warriors is the last game, which I feel like I might have heard of before. I'd have to see gameplay. So those are all the games on here. So a very diverse and solid selection of games, in my opinion. I am very happy about that. They honestly could have just made half of these games all Street Fighter games. I'm very glad they didn't go that route, as much as I love Street Fighter, but it's really nice to see all these other classic Capcom games on here as well. Now, some other features that this cabinet does have is Wi-Fi, as well as online multiplayer, and you can also keep track of the leaderboards as well to keep track of high scores and whatnot for other players who do have that cabinet. And this is coming in at $500 and is currently available through Arcade1Up's website directly or through Best Buy and Walmart. And at the moment, if you pre-order it through Arcade1Up's website, you do get free shipping, so can't go wrong with that there. So overall, I think this is a really solid cabinet, especially for the price point at $500. It is a little bit more than I would be willing to pay, but given the way that Arcade1Up cabinets are priced nowadays, I think $500 is actually decent for the amount of games that you get. You get a whole brand new design, you get the riser included, you get the molded coin door, Wi-Fi enabled. So overall, pretty solid cabinet for $500 with free shipping. So yeah, can't go wrong with that. But now we're going to move on to the Bandai Namco Legacy Ms Pac-Man cabinet. So let's go ahead and get right into that. Alright, so here we are with the Ms Pac-Man cabinet. Now overall, it's a good looking cabinet, but there's really not too much different on here. So essentially all they did was take that teal or that blue color scheme, that bright blue that was on the original Ms Pac-Man cabinet, and just changed it to black. But I do really like how it looks, probably because I'm a big Miami Heat fan, and this reminds me of the Miami Vice jerseys that they had that matched the theme of this cabinet. So I do like how that looks. That's probably why I'm so attached to it. But other than that, there's not really too much that I can see different on here as far as design. You do have the molded coin door on here, but yeah, overall it's just black instead of the blue, but it still looks very nice. It's a classic design that you do have on here, so if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yeah, it looks decent. And the one thing that I would point out that I would change if I were to pick this cabinet up is going to be right here, is the joystick. I don't like the red joystick. I think it just sticks out and doesn't really match, even though you have a little bit of red right here. To me, I would change it for either black, yellow, or pink, obviously, just to make it match. The red just kind of sticks out to me. I personally don't like it. That's really my only nitpick with the cabinet, is something that I would change. And then here are the dimensions of the cabinet for anyone who's interested. Now, this is essentially like the Pac-Man Legacy 12-in-1 cabinet that came out that I picked up not too long ago and did a video about. This is essentially that cabinet, just with Ms Pac-Man replacing Pac-Man. You do get 2 more games on here. You get 14 on this one versus 12 on the Pac-Man Legacy cabinet. And the games on here are Ms Pac-Man, Pac-Land, Pac-Man Plus, Super Pac-Man, Pac-and-Pow, Pac-Mania, Galaxian, Galaga, Dig Dug 1 and Dig Dug 2, Mappy, Rompers, Dragon Buster, and King and Balloon. So pretty much the same exact games that you get on the Pac-Man 12-in-1 you get here, but you have Ms Pac-Man as the main theme of this cabinet without the original Pac-Man on this cabinet. So if you're a big Ms Pac-Man fan, this is definitely, you know, a must-have if you don't already own either the Pac-Man Legacy Edition 12-in-1 or the original Ms Pac-Man cabinet. Yeah, this is definitely a must-have, but it's not as exciting as the Street Fighter one in my opinion, just because most of the games on this cabinet were already on, like I said, the Pac-Man 12-in-1, and the design isn't that much different. I do like it, but it's just, instead of blue, it's black. So they didn't really drastically change anything, which they didn't need to, but I just like how the Street Fighter, even though I'm not the biggest fan of the design, it is something new and different. So I feel like they took more chances with the Street Fighter cabinet, but the Ms Pac-Man cabinet is just a little bit more classic and traditional. It is $500, and again, still available through Walmart and Best Buy and Arcade1Up directly with that free shipping if you pre-order now. And these are slated to come out in August, which is just around the corner. And the Ms Pac-Man cabinet also does have the Wi-Fi that enables you to play online, which is really just to keep track of high scores for Pac-Man. Overall, the Ms Pac-Man one's just okay in my opinion. I know there are a lot of Ms Pac-Man fans out there that are probably going to want to get this ASAP. But for me personally, I'm more excited about the Street Fighter one. Not only because I really love Street Fighter, but just the variety of games that you get on here seems to be pretty decent, so I'm a big fan of that. But yeah, that's gonna do it. That was just a quick look at the 2 brand new Legacy cabinets that Arcade1Up announced. Let me know down in the comments below which cabinet was your favorite, which one you plan to get, or which one you're gonna skip, or whatever opinions or feelings you have about the cabinet. Let's talk about it down in the comments below. That's pretty much going to do it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video with your friends. Be sure to follow me on Instagram. That link's in the description down below. And I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. So as always, guys, stay tuned for more, and I'll see you guys next time.